Welcome to the Women Inspire Aspire podcast. In this episode, I talk to Prachi Hatkar about marine biology. Hi, Prachi. Thank you for accepting my invite to appear in the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Could you please go ahead and tell a bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everybody. My name is Prachi Hatkar. I have completed my master's in zoology with specialization in oceanography and fisheries science. Currently, I'm a PhD candidate at Maharaja Sayajirao University of Vadodara, and I'm currently working in Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, for a dugong conservation project. I have my current research studies are on dugong habitat assessment in Gulf of Kutch, Gujarat, and my research interest includes understanding the ecology of endangered species, diversity assessment of marine life, and connection between conservation and ecosystem benefits and livelihood. And I'm also part of Marine Mammal of India research team and member of IUCN on Commission on Education and Communication and World Commission on Protected Areas. I have published around 17 papers and I've contributed to 21 technical reports. And my research findings have helped the stakeholders and policymakers to make ground action plans for this endangered species.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about your marine biology work. I'm quite interested and intrigued because I've been studying about marine biology also for a while. And I figure
Mm-hmm.
that there are different areas in the planet which have different demography of marine biology, the species that exist in specific areas, as well as
Mm-hmm.
the climatic conditions that are there in these different areas and the depths in which these species live and so on. So, in which area is your work contributing to the marine biology? Which specific division of geography are you addressing?
So I am currently working in Gulf of Kutch, Gujarat, which is the first marine national park and sanctuary which was established in 1985. So I'm currently working on the dugong conservation in Gulf of Kutch Marine National Park and Sanctuary. So I'm currently working on their habitats assessment and the dugong conservations over there. So my work consists of talking with fishermen, creating awareness among them, and for my habitat assessment as well, we are collecting some sediment samples as well as sea grasses for how the pollution is going on, what is the condition of the habitat of seagrass ecosystem in Gulf of Kutch. Because in Gulf of Kutch, the seagrass meadows or the seagrass ecosystem is very much neglected compared to other states.
Okay, so I have heard that the salt content in that area is pretty
Very high,
very
very
high.
high.
So how does that affect the seagrass, or what kind of actions can we take to prevent the salt concentration from affecting the marine lives?
So the salt concentration, as you mentioned, that the salt concentration is nothing but salinity over there, right? So the salinity in the Gulf of Kutch area is goes till 40 parts per million. So it varies from 35 to 40 ppm actually. That is the salinity over there. It can go high, but it will affect the seagrass growth as well and the associated fauna. So if the seagrass is not growing properly, then it will be affecting their health and growth, and ultimately it will be affecting the associated fauna such as fish, or you may say crabs, or many echinoderms such as starfish and all. So if the seagrass meadows are not growing properly, then it may affect the associated species as well. Ultimately, it will affect the mega herbivores such as dugongs and sea turtles.
Okay. So how are these marine lives contributing to overall ecosystem? You mentioned about a whole lot of marine lives like turtles and
Yes, yes.
seahorses and things like that. Can you go a bit deeper into how these marine lives are contributing to the overall ecosystem and why they are important?
So if you talk about dugongs are only herbivorous marine mammal which are present in world. I mean, currently which is present in world. So it only feeds on seagrasses. So unlike sea turtles also feeds on sea algae and seagrasses. and green species specifically. And other species also thrive on corals, sponges, and etc. But this particularly dugong is only thriving on seagrasses. So they are basically working as a gardener. So if one species is continuously growing, it might be affecting the local communities, such as the sediment fauna or the animals which are residing in the sediment, such as polychaetes or worms or starfish, you may say. And particularly some coral associated fauna, I mean species or fishes, they also lay their eggs in seagrass meadows. If they are actually preferring some seagrass species over other seagrass species, so some fishes might be preferring hiding spaces for long blade seagrasses. And in Gulf of Kutch, there are only two major species which are found. One is Halodilla and one is Halophila. So particularly if these two species are not there, or if any invasive species is coming up and taking up the space, then that will also affect the I mean fishes which are trying to lay their eggs in the seagrass meadows. And also dugongs also prefer particularly these two species. So if these two species are not there, then obviously then dugong won't be surviving for long term run. So basically they act as a gardener. They they do some nutrient recycling also. So even if the marine mammals or sea turtles are dying, they provide food for the other deep sea animals as well, or the benthic faunas as well. So they, even after dying also, they are providing this natural ecosystem providers. So even if they are working, I mean, if they are putting up the seagrass meadows in check, they are maintaining the seagrass meadows quality as well as the quantity. So the dugong per se eats up to 40 kgs. So you can imagine how much meadows needs to be there for them to sustain. Same for sea turtles. Sea turtles also eat seagrasses and algae, but they're like they feed on both the things, not just particularly on seagrasses. So they also help in the nutrient cycling. They also help to keep the seagrasses quality and quantity in check. So all these ecosystem services are provided by this two mega herbivores, if you say. And apart from that, I mean, if you look at the benthic fauna such as the echinoderms and all, they also act as a pollution indicator. So some of the echinoderms also prefer to have some soft bottom sandy area. See, some of the echinoderms also lay, I mean, they prefer to stay in seagrass meadows for their protection. So ultimately, they also act for the nutrient supply, or they act as a food resources for crabs and other fishes also.
Got
So
it.
this is how the role is played.
Wonderful. Thank you for this detailed explanation of how things work. Now, you said that you do the study on pollution and you keep watching
Mhm.
how the pollution is there. Now, based on your experience, can you describe how you go about detecting the pollution? What are the contributing factors for the pollution and how it can be avoided?
So basically, the pollution level, because as you are aware that Gulf of Kutch has many industries lined up. So there is soda, cement, caustic soda industries, or there is another petroleum industries which are there already. And I mean, the monthly monitoring has been taken place by the forest department every time they go. Apart from that, the traffic or the fishing traffic or the fishing boat traffic which is being held in the Gulf of Kutch, that is also creating an issue for the pollution. So basically, what are the heavy metals which are already present in seagrasses or the seawater? And what are the threshold limit for the content in seawater that we need to, I mean, that we assess. And apart from that, we also check for the indicator species which are present in the seagrass meadows. So some polychaetes act as a pollution indicator, how their abundance or their density population is varying in season wise. So particularly in post monsoon season or pre monsoon season, one species is showing higher abundance, so that indicates that there is some changes which are happening. So that might be also, I mean, that needs to be monitored for like continuously for years. Then only we can derive the results. Okay, this particularly species is changing with the environment, and it's showing or it's not able to survive or sustain with the changes which is happening around along with the environmental parameters. So that is how we are monitoring the heavy metal content regularly by monthly basis or so.
Okay, let's talk about climate change and the impact of climate change on the sea lives. So, have
Mhm.
you seen in your experience, based on the data, how
Mm.
much the climate change has affected your ecosystem?
So if you talk about seagrass ecosystem or coral ecosystem, yes, there is bleaching events that are being reported from all over the India, especially in Gulf of Mannar, the biosphere reserve. So they have reported the bleaching of this coral reef continuously because of the increasing climate temperature is increasing. So the zooxanthellae which are present in these corals are dying. And that is why the coral are losing their color and they are becoming white.
Due to climate change, have you seen any foreign species which are not native there coming to your area and your ecosystem because of climate change?
No, that might be some fishes, but we are not currently focusing on fishes as such.
Okay, that's fine. Now let's talk about your work in IUCN. As a
Hmm.
member of IUCN, what kind of activities that you do?
So as a part of IUCN member, I have to like create awareness for the students, or since I'm currently working in protected areas, I need to keep an update or publish something in the newsletter. What are the achievements that I've done so far? What is the condition, and what are some any other issues that are coming up, and how are we going to tackle it, or anything that we can put up for the management as well. So that needs to be informed to the IUCN members as well. Particularly if I found any new species or new distribution report of particular species which was not reported earlier from that area. So I need to report to the members as well or publish somewhere, and I need to share that publication so that can go into their database that one this species are reported from particularly from this area, and this was new distribution record for this particular species and all. And apart from that, as a part of the education committee, I need to keep some awareness materials ready, or I need to translate the awareness materials into the local languages as well.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. You are doing a fantastic job. All the best for your IUCN work also. Now let's talk about your hobbies and interest apart from your work. What do you do for fun?
I I do cross stitch knitting. I also like to paint sometimes or sketch, or I love to read books.
So, apart from the work that you're already doing with respect to marine biology,
Mhm.
what are the social issues that you are concerned about and you want to work on?
So the social aspect or social concerns are basically there is no communication between the stakeholders. If you look at the fishermen and the forest department, so there is a conflict because I think, I mean, any large animal is getting stranded on the beaches. So the local community is not willingly informing the department that this has happened. Something will happen, or they'll take us somewhere, or it is illegal. So that can the blame game can turn up to them saying that okay, you didn't inform us for this particular event.
Okay, and how would you like to address that if you are given a chance?
So we are currently trying to make the community also understand that if any standing is happening, why it is important to report to the department. What is the legal hassle that you need to put, or if any live standing is also happening, then why they need to release this particular dolphins or sea turtles, and what is the legal, I mean, compensation they would get for all the work that they are be doing, and how they can be a part of this conservation activities as well. So that we are trying to do with the awareness activities that we are doing.
That's wonderful. Now, let's talk about your marine biologist role. I have
Okay.
heard that marine biologists are also scuba divers, if I'm not wrong. Have you learned scuba diving by any chance?
I got a grant from Women's Divers Hall of Fame back in 2020. So I got my open water certification that time, and I first dived in Andaman and later on dived in Mithapur in Gujarat.
Okay, so what is the depth till which you went?
It was around 18 meters. For open water certification, it is still 30 meters we can go. But maximum depth in Gulf of Kutch, in Mithapur region, it was around 12 meters to 15 meters.
And what kind of sea lives did you see when you did the diving?
So in Andaman, that was pretty beautiful. I saw stingrays, I saw lionfishes, I saw octopus. I saw many coral also, and Nemo fish, if you remember from the cartoon.
Yes, yes.
So, and sea animals. I saw sea urchins as well. So it was very beautiful to sight. I was thinking, I was hoping to see a dugong, but that was not my luck that time.
Okay. And let's talk a bit about the equipment that you used for scuba diving. How did you communicate with your fellow divers and so on?
So if we are diving, we don't dive alone. So we have to always dive with our buddy. So if something has happened, then we have to signal underwater. So there are many signs that we show together that if I'm not comfortable or if I'm feeling the pressure and because of that my ears started paining, then I'll signal to my buddy saying that I'm discomfort. I have some discomfort in my ears. So let's wait. I'll breathe in and then we can go ahead. So after descending also, after some depth, as the pressure increases, you will start feeling some pressure on your ears. So you need to equalize the pressure by blowing air through your nose and then you can go down. So as you go deeper, that pressure starts increasing. So the direction needs to be, so one buddy actually directs you where are you going, and one you need to keep a check on how much air do you have. So we also monitor what was the start air and what was the end air. So the breathing rate that we we pace in, that actually depends how much time you will take underwater. So if I'm breathing very heavily, I'll finish up my air very easily or in half an hour or 15-20 minutes. But if I'm breathing normally or very calmly, then it will be like last for 1 hour or so.
Okay, great. As a budding marine biologist, what kind of advice or tips do you want to give to people who are interested in this field?
I'll say that you need to dive into your passion, and then you don't have to swim for the competition.
That's great advice. Okay, thank you so much for your
Okay,
time talking to me today. And thank you for appearing in the podcast. I wish you all the best in your work and
thank you.
everything that you pursue.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.
That was a great podcast with Prachi Hatkar. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more awesome podcasts. Opinions expressed by the guests in this podcast are their own. The host or the sponsors of the podcast do not condone the opinions expressed by the guests or the actions arising out of those opinions. Any decisions or actions that the listeners might take as a result of listening to this podcast must be based on their own judgment and will be at their own risk. The podcast host or their sponsors will not be held responsible for the consequences of any actions and or decisions taken as a result of any content in this podcast.